Give the gift of Rev Voice this Christmas. Rejoice with Rev Voice when you sign up and enter to win 12 days of giveaways, including a 2015 Jeep Wrangler from Bahamas Bus and Truck.
Ryan Pinder resigns. The PM calls his job offer mind-blowing. The opposition calls for the BOB boss to resign. Plus, BEC's workers' union signs a new agreement following a standoff with the chairman. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Juanique Toot and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, Minister of Financial Services Ryan Pinder has resigned to take up a position in the private sector. However, he will continue to serve as a PLP Member of Parliament for Elizabeth. Despite his decision to leave, Pinder says the Christie cabinet remains strong, and he doesn't think the move will be a blow to the party. Dana Smith reports.
According to a statement released by Cabinet Office, Pinder has accepted a senior management position at Deltec International Baking Group in Nassau. Calling the time he served as a cabinet minister the ride of a lifetime, Pinder said he's satisfied with the work he's accomplished as Minister of Financial Services. His resignation becomes effective at the end of the month.
It was a professional decision. It's a personal decision. It was an opportunity that was extended to me in my professional capacity. That is one of those opportunities that are once-in-a-lifetime type of opportunities. So I thought it was in the best interest of my profession, my family, and so I made that decision.
Pinder said both Prime Minister Perry Christie and Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis have been aware of his intention to resign for some time, even prior to Christie's latest trip to Havana, Cuba, where Pinder accompanied him as a member of the Bahamas delegation for the Caribbean Community Heads of Government Conference. It was after the group's return to the Bahamas that reports of Pinder's impending resignation spread. Pointing to that trip, Pinder said the relationship between him and Christie is clearly strong, and although he's withdrawn from cabinet, he will continue to support the government as a backbench MP.
The Prime Minister has been aware of this, and the Deputy Prime Minister. And we have, before I went to Cuba, so clearly the relationship between myself and the Prime Minister remains very strong, very committed, and I support the government and the Prime Minister and all decisions by the government completely. I will maintain my position as a representative for the Elizabeth constituency in the House of Assembly from the backbench, and in doing so support the government of the Bahamas.
Since news of his resignation broke, some have questioned Pinder's reasons for quitting and suggested his departure could be a blow to the Christie administration and its cabinet. Well, Pinder dismissed those concerns today, explaining the opportunity was too good to pass up, and he's confident in the strength of cabinet, calling it well qualified to move the country forward.
Well, the Bahamas cabinet and the executive is very strong, has very strong composition. So I think that the government of the Bahamas is well equipped to move the country forward, to complete the policy initiatives that the executive branch and the Progressive Liberal Party have for the country, and to do the best thing and make the best decisions for the advancement of the Bahamian people.
Pinder said he will demit office at the end of December. As for who will replace him as Minister of Financial Services, Pinder said that's a decision for the Prime Minister to make, but there are very capable people in the cabinet, parliament, and otherwise that he believes are up to the task. Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
Prime Minister Perry Christie defended Pinder's resignation today, noting that while he does not believe the Financial Services Minister resigned solely for financial reasons, it would be hard to reject what he called an extraordinary and mind-blowing offer. Christie said he has not yet received Pinder's resignation letter, but he is assessing his team to determine who, if anyone, will replace Pinder.
I'm in the process of reviewing my team to see so to speak, who will ascend to that position or laterally move to that position, and if someone does that, who take their position.
Speaking with reporters outside the House of Assembly, the Prime Minister said Pinder advised him of the job offer some time ago, but he hasn't actually handed in his resignation letter. Once that happens, Christie says he will be ready to make an announcement about a possible replacement.
I have not made a decision as to who. As to who will replace Mr. Pinder, if at all. And so it's a question that I will decide, I imagine, over the next several hours. It's one of those kinds of decisions that must be ready for implementation the minute the formal process is completed.
Asked whether he feels the salaries of cabinet ministers and members of parliament led to Pinder's resignation, Christie suggested that might not be the only reason.
It might not be a fair conclusion by looking at that, because he does come from a family of means. Not just his father, but his family. The wider family are a well-off family. So I'm sure there were other considerations as well.
Ministers make $66,000 a year, and members of parliament make $28,000. The Prime Minister says many professionals have entered frontline politics but didn't last long because they need money to support their families. These days, he says, it is rare for someone to remain on the political stage for as long as he has. However, he says it would be hard for Pinder to walk away from such an offer.
Someone is given an extraordinary, mind-blowing offer, all right, in an economy like this, and they're young, and they have kids. No matter how wealthy they are, that offer is not just dollars and cents. It's a prominent position in a banking order that will enable you to become one of the power brokers on a global basis. That's what Ryan Pinder is looking forward to, being a huge player in the financial services world.
Christie also fired back at opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, who suggested Pinder resigned because of the Bank of the Bahamas controversy.
What does Dr. Minnis look like when Ryan Pinder gets up and says you're talking nonsense? All it does say again that Mr. Minnis there's a need for him to grow and mature as a leader.
Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis says Pinder's resignation came as a blow to the PLP. He suggested that it was a result of government's handling of the Bank of the Bahamas bailout and the Christie administration's performance. He's now calling for BOB's managing director Paul McQueenie to resign or be fired. Simone Davis has that angle.
Minnis said there was no place for Pinder in the PLP, and he was well in his right to resign.
Pinder's a wise man. What happened is he see the ship is sinking, so he's getting off before the ship sinks totally. He recognized that the government of which he's a part of is totally indecisive. He came from the business sector where they must be very decisive. So I'm sure that has been bothering him for a while.
He says Pinder came from the business sector where he is trained to be decisive. He said an example of the government's failure to make an important decision is the issue with the Bank of the Bahamas bailout. Minnis says BOB's managing director, Paul McQueenie, should have been fired immediately along with the board of directors.
I asked the minority shareholders, demand the resignation of the managing director, McQueenie, and the directors. They cannot continue carrying this ship along because we'll be back to square one. And if the government refuses, bring a minority shareholder litigation or class action lawsuit against the government. Resolve this issue. The government must demand, and the opposition is demanding, that the government remove the managing director and the board of directors.
Minnis said he is sure that the government's handling of the Bank of the Bahamas bailout is one of the main issues that triggered Pinder to resign from his post as the Minister of Financial Services. He also suggested that Pinder was being used by the PLP. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
In other news, former central bank governor and former Minister of State for Finance James Smith will head the board of directors for Resolve Bahamas Limited, the government-created corporation that has been tasked with collecting $100 million worth of bad commercial loans it absorbed from Bank of the Bahamas. Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis announced Smith's appointment today. He also revealed that accounting firm Deloitte & Touche has been selected to collect debt and manage the portfolio of Resolve Bahamas.
We are confident that this combination of the board and portfolio manager will allow Resolve to maximize its collection on the portfolio of assets over which it has taken charge. We acted to safeguard the stability of a Bahamian-owned commercial bank and did so with the endorsement of the regulator. It also preserved a significant measure of calm that benefits the entire local banking sector. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure that the public sector stays intimately involved in doing business with the Bank of the Bahamas and that we find ways to deepen this relationship. It is our bank, Mr. Speaker. It is the people's bank. The Bahamian public can expect to see and hear more from us on this matter.